Welcome to Hero Villains! Who do you think would win in a battle between Steppenwolf and Surtur? Steppenwolf, one of the most fearsome generals of Apokolips, is a warrior who serves Darkseid and has led countless brutal invasions across the DC universe. He is known for thousands of years of combat experience, a ruthless warrior spirit, and absolute loyalty to the mission of conquering every world. His powers include incredible strength, speed beyond human limits, extreme durability, and highly refined combat skills. His signature weapon is the Electro Axe, a battle axe that can cut through metal and unleash destructive energy. Surtur, meanwhile, is an ancient and colossal being from the race of fire giants in Muspelheim in the Marvel Universe. He is the embodiment of the doomsday flame, the one prophesied to burn Asgard to the ground when Ragnarok arrives. Surtur possesses a massive body, strength capable of crushing gods, the ability to create and command the eternal flame, and the Twilight Sword that can tear reality apart. When these two warlords clash, Steppenwolf brings speed and refined skill, while Surtur delivers destruction on a global scale, creating a battle between an elite warrior and an overwhelming force of apocalyptic fire. Before we dive deeper into the analysis, please hit the subscribe button and remember to turn on notifications by tapping the bell icon. Thank you all so much. Steppenwolf was born on Apokolips, a place where war and power dominate everything. He grew up among legions of parademons and quickly became a main general under Darkseid, who is both his nephew and the absolute ruler of this dark world. Steppenwolf belongs to the race known as the New Gods. In countless invasions he has led, the parademon army has always followed behind, witnessing the general of Apokolips crush planet after planet with power that was nearly impossible to resist. He is not only stronger than most other New Gods, but also possesses a massive physique enhanced by his Electro Axe, a weapon that makes every strike hit as hard as thunder. He faced Cyborg, Mera, Aquaman, and Wonder Woman head-on and still held a clear advantage. His full body armor makes him almost impossible to pierce, barely trembling even under the pressure of the massive water blasts Mera unleashed. Even the concentrated firepower from Cyborg's weapons could only cause small shockwaves across his body. Despite his large size, Steppenwolf has incredible speed. In the final battle, he kept up with Wonder Woman and Aquaman and even outpaced them at moments during sudden close-range attacks. When fighting underwater, his strength and speed became even more terrifying. However, when facing Superman or the Flash, his speed was no longer an advantage. Those heroes move so fast that he can only react late, creating a clear gap between raw, destructive power and pure speed. During his years of service, ambition slowly grew beyond loyalty, leading him to commit the biggest mistake of his life, joining forces with traitors who sought to steal the throne of Apokolips. Realizing he was only a pawn in their rebellion, he turned on his own allies and destroyed them to salvage what was left. Even so, the guilt ran too deep. Darkseid banished him from his homeland and forced him to redeem his sins by conquering 150,000 worlds. To this day, he still owes 50,000 more worlds in hopes of earning forgiveness from his family. That pressure pushed him into an unrelenting hunt. When he heard Lex Luthor whisper about the location of the 3 mother boxes, Steppenwolf saw the chance to erase every stain on his name. Uniting the 3 boxes to form the Unity, a source of power strong enough to reshape Earth in the image of Apokolips. In his eyes, this was not just a victory, but the only path that could lead him back to the place he once called home. After the fierce battle at Gotham Harbor, the shock from Superman's death awakened the mother boxes that had been lost since the time Darkseid was defeated by the ancient guardians of Earth. That awakening spread like the call of a dormant power, opening the door for Steppenwolf to begin the conquest he had long desired. However, his path was immediately blocked when Hippolyta and the Amazon warriors appeared. They charged in to stop him with all the might of their people, giving the Queen a chance to retreat with the mother box and sink the chamber deep into the ocean, hoping that no one would ever reach it. Refusing to give up, Steppenwolf shifted his focus to the Atlanteans. He captured several warriors, trying to force the location of the next box out of them. When they refused to speak, he used a special device that projected their memories, allowing him to discover where the box was being guarded. He instantly opened a boom tube and made his way straight to the underwater stronghold. The Atlantean guards fell under his brutal strength, and only Mera was strong enough to hold him back by manipulating the surrounding water. Her power slowed him for just a moment. When Steppenwolf raised his axe to finish her, Aquaman appeared and blocked the strike just in time. But even with the advantage at first, Aquaman was overwhelmed, and in the end he watched helplessly as the Mother Box fell into Steppenwolf's hands. As Steppenwolf left, a vision appeared before him, showing the invasion of Earth 5,000 years ago. From that moment he realized a shocking secret. The anti-life equation was right here on this planet. He immediately summoned Darkseid and told him everything he had just witnessed. When Darkseid himself appeared through the transmission, he declared that if Steppenwolf conquered Earth, the path back to Apokolips would open. Steppenwolf searched everywhere and ordered the parademons to capture anyone who carried traces related to the Mother Boxes. As chaos erupted, Wonder Woman appeared with unwavering determination in her eyes. Steppenwolf dismissed everything else and ordered his army to handle the rest while he personally faced the Amazon princess. The two superpowered warriors clashed, each blow echoing like thunder, their strength so evenly matched that even the ground seemed to tremble. But little by little, Steppenwolf began to gain the upper hand. He pushed Diana into a defensive position, forcing her back against a wall before tearing open an exit and escaping. While the other heroes awakened the Mother Box to revive Superman, Batman broke through the barrier surrounding Pozarnov, clearing the way for the final showdown. Steppenwolf immediately ordered the parademons to launch an all-out attack to protect the Unity as it was forming. Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Cyborg charged at him together, creating a battle that roared like a storm. Even though they coordinated smoothly, Steppenwolf was still strong enough to throw Diana and Arthur aside, leaving Cyborg in a dangerous position. However, just as he was about to deliver the finishing blow, Superman appeared. The entire space seemed to light up. He blocked Steppenwolf's axe with ease and crushed it as if it were nothing. The battle shifted completely in favor of the Kryptonian, who overwhelmed Steppenwolf even as he tried desperately to fight back. Finally, with a blazing stare, Superman used his heat vision to slice off one of Steppenwolf's horns. As the fight reached its peak, Steppenwolf could no longer withstand the combined strength of the Justice League. Their relentless attacks drove him into a dead end, pushing him into panic mixed with rage. In that moment of losing control, Aquaman suddenly thrust his trident through Steppenwolf from behind, sending his massive body reeling. Superman took the opportunity and delivered a thunderous punch that sent Steppenwolf flying back toward the open boom tube. Before he could regain his balance, Wonder Woman leapt forward, her sword carving a sharp streak of light. The blade struck cleanly, severing the invader's head as his body was pulled toward the chaotic space beyond. Steppenwolf's lifeless form fell into the darkness, closing the chapter on the conquest he once believed would restore his honor. When his corpse returned to Apokolips, the scene turned heavy and silent for a moment. Darkseid stepped forward, his eyes burning with fury and contempt. He stomped on the severed head, crushing it to dust, then snapped the remaining horn with brutal force. The fire in his eyes faded, but the anger he bore for this defeat continued to burn deep inside, foreshadowing an even greater threat to come. I truly hope you will. Subscribe to the channel, it helps us a lot, and you are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. Surtur emerged in ancient times when primal forces still ruled the universe. He is the demon king of fire, with a massive body towering over 300 meters tall, radiating intense heat as if every breath could burn an entire kingdom to ash. The giant flaming sword in his hand shines like a captured sun, and anyone who sees it understands immediately that they are facing a power no Asgardian warrior ever wishes to meet. Surtur does not only possess a wicked intelligence, but is also a being who existed long before Odin rose to rule the 9 realms, making his presence shrouded in ancient fear. Asgard has long considered Surtur one of its most dangerous enemies, standing alongside Ymir and the Midgard Serpent. His strength goes beyond any normal measure. With a single motion, he can lift more than 100 tons without effort. His nature as a primordial flame makes him nearly invulnerable, untouched by weapons or magic that others might call destructive. His endurance seems limitless. Even after Odin imprisoned him in the core of Earth, the fire within him never went out. It continued to burn for thousands of years, a constant reminder that when Surtur rises again, all of Asgard will tremble under the shadow of destruction. He moves with a speed that makes the ground shake behind him, and his reflexes are fast enough to counter sudden attacks from Asgardian warriors. His agility defies logic, as his body is made of living fire that is calm yet fiercely powerful, a force capable of affecting global temperatures if he ever let it spread freely. Surtur can alter his form, making his body fade like smoke or glow like a blazing forge, shifting his size at will, and even turning non-solid to avoid damage. Every movement he makes is a dance of fire, mesmerizing to look at, but deadly all the same. The legendary sword he wields is his most terrifying source of power. It is not just a magical weapon, but a tool capable of manipulating reality. Each swing can tear apart the fabric of space and weaken Odin's power. Many have tried to tap into its strength, and the results were beyond imagination. Loki once used it to turn Thor into a frog and to spread disease among the people of Asgard, who were normally immune to any illness. Morgan Le Fay, with chaotic support from Scarlet Witch, used the flame within the sword to restructure the entire Earth. When the sword fused with the eternal flame, its power reached a level no one could define. An entire kingdom could vanish in an instant, leaving behind nothing but drifting ash in a blood-red sky. The eternal flame is the core of Surtur's strength. But what is even more terrifying is that even when weakened and close to death, he could still unleash a blast of fire strong enough to force Thor to step back. His massive body, even when drained, could endure strikes from Mjolnir before collapsing. Once the flame inside him was reignited, Surtur's power returned at a monstrous scale. In just a moment, he wiped out Hela, the goddess of death, someone even the Asgardians viewed as a force of destruction. To melt Uru, the metal that makes Mjolnir, requires a focused explosion from a neutron star, something just below a black hole in density and strength. Yet Surtur effortlessly incinerated a being that surpassed even that power. In his fight with Hulk, he tossed the massive warrior aside as if he were throwing a handful of sand. Replace Hulk with Thanos, Ultron, or Curse, and the result would be exactly the same. Surtur's most iconic achievement is the destruction of Asgard itself. Many people mistakenly think Asgard is simply a large floating city, but it is in fact a celestial realm filled with pure magic. The Bifrost runs through its very essence, connecting the entire magical structure of the 9 realms. Even under the strongest lightning strikes from Thor, the surface of Asgard never showed a single crack. Yet before the rebirth power of Surtur, that entire world collapsed in an instant, melting into flames like a ritual marking the end of an era. Surtur. He entered the land of the gods with one goal: to reclaim the eternal flame that Odin and his brothers had taken from him. As soon as Surtur arrived, Thor rushed in to stop him, but the rage of the Fire King far surpassed the Thunder God's power at that time. Every strike from Thor was nothing more than scattered sparks facing a blazing Sunday. Surtur confronted Odin directly, and their clash sent shockwaves spreading through the 9 realms. Stunned by the power Odin held, he summoned all the cold of the universe and forged it into an endless winter to imprison his opponent. When Odin was completely frozen, Surtur approached the eternal flame and lit the Twilight Sword. However, the power he expected did not awaken. In that moment, Odin transferred all his power to Thor so that his son could face the Fire King. The battle between Thor and Surtur erupted across time and space, opening a path that freed Ymir from his ancient prison. Taking advantage of the chaos, Surtur disguised himself as Odin and crafted a plan to destroy Asgard. He spread word of Ragnarok and pushed Heimdall to stop Ymir while he quietly set his scheme into motion. When Odin revealed the truth, the conflict spiraled into chaos. Odin transformed into Surtur to confront Ymir directly, pulling both of them into a whirlpool of endless ice and fire. To end the bloodshed, Thor sought out the Twilight Sword in the Eternal Night Sea, but during the battle he fell into grave danger. Eric Masterson made the final decision to merge himself with Thor and Mjolnir, helping Thor regain control. Thor lit the Twilight Sword with the Eternal Flame, breaking Odin's hold on Surtur. Immediately, Surtur and Ymir charged at each other to seize the sword. Taking advantage of the moment, Thor transported both of them into the Eternal Night Sea, where the boundless cold imprisoned them in endless silence. For many years, these two primordial forces remained still in the frozen darkness, waiting for another moment to rise again. The clash between Steppenwolf and Surtur erupted with incredible fury. The Electro Axe collided with the Twilight Sword, creating violent shockwaves that cracked nearby volcanoes and sent ash flying everywhere. In the opening moments, Steppenwolf held the advantage. His thousands of years of battle experience and superior agility let him dodge the flaming strikes while swinging his axe hard into Surtur's shoulder. Tearing through the hardened magma shell, he laughed arrogantly, his voice full of confidence. "You are nothing but fading embers. I will snuff you out." But the wound only made Surtur angrier. He realized Steppenwolf was not a weakling, but a warrior far stronger than the average Asgardian god. Deciding not to hold back anymore, Surtur stepped toward the eternal flame. He dipped the Twilight Sword into the fire and absorbed its power as brilliant flames surged across his entire body. You want power? Then see what Ragnarok truly is. He roared as his body began to expand at an exponential rate. From 5 meters, he rose to 50, then 500, and finally reached the clouds, towering like a living mountain. The heat pouring from him melted even the parademons around him. Steppenwolf, once a fearsome conqueror, now looked like nothing more than an ant in front of Surtur. Even terrified, he still charged forward, pouring all his energy into his axe and swinging it at Surtur's massive leg, hoping to knock him off balance. But the strike that once split the earth now left only a tiny scratch on the burning layer of molten rock. Surtur roared like thunder, the sound shaking the air itself. I am the destruction of worlds. You are nothing but dust. Without even swinging his sword, he simply brought down his giant hand. The blazing hand fell like a meteor, shattering everything in its path. Steppenwolf raised his axe to block, but the ground beneath him broke apart and molten lava swallowed the new god whole. His axe melted and snapped under the heat of the Twilight Sword as Surtur drove the blade into his position. An explosion of hellfire swept across the entire area, wiping out the parademon army and leaving a cloud of ashes drifting in the air. When the smoke cleared, Surtur returned to his normal size and looked down at Steppenwolf's charred corpse and the shattered pieces of the axe. Without a word, he kicked the body into the blazing river of lava. The victor, Surtur. I hope you enjoyed this battle. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. Follow me if you like the content. That is the video for today. Thank you so much.